United States Army Black Hawk helicopter happened not far from where I'm standing in the dark Potomac River. It is rainy here as well today or this evening, and that will also be a factor that, of course, investigators will want to look into. The weather not particularly good at Philadelphia Northeast International Airport. Low overcast, rain, and mist. That will be something that investigators will fold into their investigation as they just begin this. We are at the very opening stages of trying to figure out exactly what happened here.
And Pete, how much fuel would an aircraft like this have for, I mean, if it's going to Branson from Philadelphia, more than 1,000 miles?
The gallons would have to be in the hundreds, Anderson. I'm not totally sure of the fuel capacity on the Lear 55. It usually has a capacity of about 6,000 pounds. That's a significant amount of fuel. Private business jets measure fuel in pounds, not gallons. That's a bit of a difference from smaller airplanes. And to be clear, this is not something that was a very small aircraft. Initially, we were reporting this might have been a single-engine airplane. This is a twin-engine jet. It's much closer in size to the regional jet that we saw crash here in D.C. Has a wingspan of about 45 to 50 feet. And it is a pretty large airplane. Requires typically 2 crew. This is not something, it's of a vintage that would not be a jet that would be able to be flown by 1 passenger. And we're getting more details about this all the time. But of course, investigators will want to look at the video that you and I keep seeing, that we keep bringing in at CNN to figure out what went wrong here. And they're able to deduce with a lot of reliability and go through frame by frame by doing a little bit of trigonometry and a little bit of math, the speed of the airplane, the altitude, although we do know that at least from the preliminary data from open source sites like ADS-B Exchange and Flight Radar 24, that this flight had just taken off, was in the air for a total of about 41 or 42 seconds, and reached a maximum descent of an alarming rate of 11,000 feet per minute. That is a tremendous plunge, and the maximum altitude here was only about 1,600 feet, according to the data. So it's very granular data, but it's very preliminary, and of course the NTSB will have access to much better data from radar locations around the Philadelphia area, and the sad reality is this came down in a neighborhood.
Pete, CNN has obtained some to the investigation, but we're just playing you the verbal portions at this point. Let's listen to those clips as we hear them for the first time.
Medevac Med Service 056, contact Philly departure 123.8. Medevac Med Service Northeast Tower. Medevac Med Service 056 Northeast Tower, you on frequency? 56098 Foxtrot Northeast Ground, Roger. Stand by 1. I'll get back to you after. We have a lost aircraft. We're not exactly sure what happened, so we're trying to figure it out. For now, the field is going to be closed, so no inbounds or outbounds probably.
We have a lost aircraft. Pete, when an air traffic controller says we have a lost aircraft, do they, on their monitors, does it just disappear?
Well, from the tower there, and the tower there is relatively high, you can't see a fair amount even when the weather is bad. When there's no transponder data put out from an airplane, which is usually one of the first things that happens in a crash, they cannot see it on their radar scopes. I don't know if they have primary radar at Northeast Philly Airport. It might be just a repeater radar from Philadelphia International Airport, meaning that the airport does not have its own radar system. I'd have to look it up. I haven't had a chance to look it up yet. That gives them a little bit more fidelity into radar and what airplanes are doing in the area. But it is clear that the controller there, and we're hearing only one side of the conversation, mind you, I can tell by the sameness of the voice and the transmissions, that the controller told this airplane...
There's a press conference happening right now. Pete, I have to interrupt. There's a press conference happening right now. Let's listen in.
About what we know for certain right now, an aircraft went down in the vicinity of Roosevelt Mall on Cottman Avenue. This occurred shortly after 6 p.m. this evening. As of right now, We have no reports on the number of fatalities. So right now we're just asking for prayers for any and everyone who may have been affected. We do want to note that several dwellings and vehicles were impacted. So what are we asking you to do for us right now, Philadelphia? We're urging you to please stay away from the scene. If you see debris, call 911. Don't touch anything. This is still an active scene under investigation. I'm proud to note that all of our federal and state partners, they are either en route here or on the ground with us right now. We did see some neighbors who live in the surrounding community. Just stay in your home. Again, it's still an active scene and it's under investigation. This is only the first of many briefings, I'm sure, to come on this evening. And of course, when daylight comes, when we have more facts and information to share with you. But I do want to say a special thank you right now, again, to all of our federal and state partners and our amazing first responders right here in the city of Philadelphia. Our fire, our EMS, our police department, they have been here working vigorously to ensure that we get this perimeter and the surrounding area blocked off to ensure that we make public safety and health our #1 priority. So we don't have any further information to share at this time. I've spoken to our Governor Josh Shapiro. He is en route. I've spoken to our U.S. Senator John Fetterman.
An avenue that are completely burned out, as well as house fires that are taking place in that particular area. There are fatalities. I don't know how many, but it was described to me as multiple fatalities. At this point in time, I think the mayor's absolutely right. When you give a press conference, she doesn't have all the information. And of course, you always have next